What it is, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. It's a wrap, aka Yudi here. With Thanksgiving right around the corner, I thought it would be nice to sit down and talk about books that discuss the family dynamic, of course, by Black authors. So I have a couple of recommendations of books that cover the gamut of family, dysfunctional families, generational traumas, joy and softness also comes with being within family, loss and grief, because some of us are, navigating the loss and grief of loved ones through this time, as well as secrets. Okay, I'm looking at my pile right here. So let me pick up the first one. The first one I have is A Day Late, a Dollar Short by Terry McMillan. If you have, I know there's a movie to this. Viola, who is the matriarch in the family, has a health scare, and we realize that everything is pretty much in a disarray, and she's almost been suffering in silence. We get the different perspective of the family members, and we get a look into the different shortcomings, dynamics, all the inside outs of what's going on with the Price family. So I think all of them, the most that feels like this is appropriate for a holiday, not a holiday, but like a Thanksgiving season read. If you want to read something about like family during Thanksgiving, I would recommend Terry McMillan's A Day Late and a Dollar Short. The next one on my list, this one actually, it took me a minute to read, but I think if it also is a good recommendation if you're looking for something that discusses family dynamics, and that is Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. I have not read her. Is it Good Dirt? Good Dirt also came out this year, and I think that also kind of goes into family secrets and dynamics. But I did read Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson, and I can tell you what this one is about. So this one, Eleanor passes away, and she leaves a voice note for her son and daughter that they must listen to before they can get access to anything that's in the will. And pretty much it's, what was the son's name is, I think, Byron, and then the daughter's name is Benny, and they're estranged. So something happened, they're estranged. This is the first time coming together because of the passing of their mother, and they pretty much learn the story of their mother and all the secrets that she has, and the secrets also of their family. So yeah, this one's again a good one for family secrets. This is, for me, was a little bit slow, but if you want to read a book about family and family secrets, I would recommend this one. Okay, so the next book I have is Silver Sparrow by Sarai Jones. She also wrote An American Marriage. If you all who isn't familiar with Sarai Jones, but yeah, she also wrote An American Marriage. So this one also is another one that is does it fall into the dysfunctional family? I think this one is bigger, is for me more so family secrets. Pretty much the father had two families. That's pretty much the story. Is these daughters in Atlanta that find out that their father has two families. That's it in a summary. Somewhere in this pile, there is a recommendation about family that feels a little bit more heartwarming. But I think there's still some, in the dysfunction, there are still some heartwarming moments as well. This is one I actually read at the top of the year, Death of the Author by Nyeti Okorafor. And this is about a writer who catapults to fame when like her world falls. She loses her job. It's just not going well. She moves back in with her parents. She ends up writing this novel that gets so big. It is bigger than she ever anticipated, and is bigger than she can handle. And there's a lot of things going on also within her family that I'm not going to spoil. But I think more so than anything, this is a story about family and the dynamics of dealing with family, as also you're trying to navigate your own life and how your family plays a part in that. So I think this is also a good one if you're interested in interesting exploration in family dynamics. The next book I have is Small Worlds by Kalibazuma Nelson. And this story I chose because the main character is Steven. He's Ghanaian British. And this one is a coming of age story, but also within coming of age, it is Steven also finding a sense of home within his identity. And there's a big plot about his parents in terms of his relationship with his parents. Also being a first generation child with immigrant parents. Again, I feel like home and a sense of place was also very big in this book, for where his parents came from, Ghana, and his sense of home in Ghana, and also his sense of home in the UK, where he lives. So yeah, this is just, when I read it, I really resonated with it. So I think this one is definitely it definitely falls into the love and softness category for me. The next book I have is Only Big Bum Bum Matters Tomorrow by Damilare Kuku. And there were some other books that fit this category that I thought about choosing. But one, I really enjoyed Only Big Bum Bums Matter Tomorrow. And this one, it's multiple perspectives and multiple stories. So the main story anchoring this down is that the main character wants to get a BBL because she feels like she doesn't have a butt. And, you know, the different women in her family, her mother, her aunt, her sister, all are like, why are you doing this? But then in them trying to like corral together to be all like, don't get this BBL, they are also telling their own stories. And in telling their own stories, we learn about all the secrets and things that these women are keeping from each other, and how much of their life that, you know, they kind of hold to themselves in an almost shameful way. But I think this is an interesting look at like family expectations, but also discussing Nigerian womanhood and emotional honesty, especially like within the familial dynamic, and how much it will serve, you know, because it also goes through multiple generations of women. So how much in terms of just it would serve for a daughter to know a mother's story and a mother to know a grandmother's story in terms of coming into yourself. So yeah, I really enjoy Only Big Bum Bums Matter Tomorrow. I also think this is a good one to get cozy with on during the weekend, Friday, if you're not doing, you know, your big Black Friday shopping. But yes, recommend this one. The next book I have is Salvage the Bones by Jesmyn Ward. And I believe this is the second book, including Adebayo and Dollar Schwartz, that really grasps the like storytelling in terms of a family dynamic. But this follows a young girl who lives with her brothers and her dad. So she's the only girl in the family, and she finds out that she's pregnant. Also, when she finds out that she's pregnant, there is a hurricane developing as well, and they live in Mississippi. I think it's supposed to be Hurricane Katrina. Y'all don't quote me, but as you know, as there's the tension of Etch being pregnant, there's the tension of this storm coming, and then there's just the tension of this family, like the family dynamics that are happening in terms of, you know, the father trying to hold it all together having lost his wife, and the boys and what the boys are going through, and like the tension of this family in conjunction with the tension of this hurricane that is approaching. It's like in the physical and emotional sense, like mental, psychological sense, it's just this building tension that, you know, builds and bursts. It's a really good read. That's the best way I can explain it. Okay, the last physical book I have is Grown Woman by Sarai Johnson. Actually, this might be another book that I will put in the category with Only Big Bum Bums Matter Tomorrow in terms of girlhood and womanhood and these generation of women. Yeah, this is definitely a character-driven read. But another one that I would recommend just in terms of family expectations and generational wounds. So this is definitely, I lied. This is in the same category as Only Big Bum Bums Matter Tomorrow. If you are interested in Only Big Bum Bums Matter Tomorrow, I think you would enjoy this one as well. Okay, and then ones that I have to mention, but I do not have the physical books in my hand. First one, I thought I owned A Spell of Good Things. I swore I owned A Spell of Good Things, but I guess I don't. Watch when I look back at my shelf, I actually do have it. I don't even have that many books. Can you imagine if I had more books? I don't even have that many books. I swear I owned A Spell of Good Things, but for right now, this one is definitely dysfunctional family, but throw in politics and class, because it's following two families. It's following the family of Eniola, whose family is like drowning in poverty. They are struggling. They cannot come up out of it after his father has lost his job as a professor. And woo, baby, the things that they go through to try just to just meet the day-to-day is heartbreaking. And then there's Ruola, who's on the opposite end. Her father is a politician, and they're pretty well-to-do, and she's a doctor. And she seems to live a seemingly comfortable life, but she is in a relationship that is very, very unsafe and toxic. Is everyone everybody's playing the role, and in playing the role and keeping up pretenses, Ruola is suffering. And pretty much it's how these families cross paths, or they cross each other's paths in the frame of class, of politics, and can I say a country in crisis? But like, it is crisis that kind of brings them together. But this is a good one, just looking at the dynamics of two families, and also the bigger outside dynamics that really play a role in how these families interact, function within the world and amongst each other. I also have Right at the Bone. I got that book from the library. I should get a physical book. This is another one that is I had to talk about this book because this is literally a story of a family. Like, it's the story we get a chapter with each person telling their story that overall plays into this familial memory or dynamic. So yeah, but we have Melody, and then we have her mother, and then we have Aubrey, who's Melody's father. These are all the perspectives that we get, and it's pretty much a multi-generational story that pretty much explains the choices that these individuals make that ultimately affect this family. It talks about, teenage motherhood, family ruptures, and how they reconnect, and how decisions, have an effect, a multi-generational effect within the family. And then the last book I have is Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black. Is it Isaiah's Song? I have not read Isaiah's Song, but throw that in there too. And Don't Cry for Me is a story of a father who is dying, and he writes these letters. Jacob's the father. So Jacob is dying, and he writes these letters to his son, who he's now estranged with, explaining why their relationship is estranged and why he treated his son the way that he did. And Isaac is receiving the history of his father and the story of his father that he never got to get when he was like living in a good relationship with his father. I think this is also a unique one because while it also talks about family dynamics, it talks more about fatherhood and masculinity, definitely homophobia within like a family dynamic. And I guess even though they don't reconcile, but in terms of attempts or outreaches in terms of family for reconciliation and regret and being able to openly discuss, generational pains, and like in the other books, there is generational traumas and pains that are kept from one generation to the next, and we see that how it affects the next generation. And we get this open letter from Jacob in an attempt to amend the generational traumas that he held and that he therefore passed on to his son. If there's any other familial dramas or familial books with themes of familial dynamics in it that are good recommendations as well, drop them down in the comments and we can continue our discussion there. But pretty much that's it. That's all the family stories. Some of them sweet, some of them spicy, some of them might have you a little teary-eyed. Get your feels in, whatever you feeling this Thanksgiving or this holiday that's coming up. Hopefully it's in this gamut of book recommendations, so we can continue our conversation in the comments. And until next time, y'all, deuces.